And welcome to 66ers Safe at Home. It's our pleasure to be joined by former 66er Jahmai Jones of the Angels organization. And Jam, you're looking good. I know that like everyone else, I think you said you're going a little stir crazy, but that's kind of our life right now, isn't it?
It really is. It's definitely a change of scenery and a different pace of life that no one really expected coming up in 2020. So my girlfriend and I are just kind of adapting to whatever is thrown at us, and we're taking every day in stride, just trying not to get in each other's hair too much. But no, it's good though. I'm loving it. Obviously, I would rather be playing, but we are definitely making the most out of the situation right now.
Well, Jam, I mean, you brought it up. Hair. I mean, we can't talk Jam Jones without talking about hair. And it's when we first met you a few years back, you had the long locks. Then next year you showed up with short hair. Now it looks like you're in between.
Yeah, no, it's definitely long. It's up right now, so it goes to about almost the back of my like trap or like kind of back of my shoulders, top of my traps area. Definitely letting it ride out again. So when you saw me with long hair, I was playing well. So I don't know, some kind of Samson effect or something. But
That's
I feel like when my hair is longer, I play a little bit better.
very funny. Now, for you, you're in a very interesting kind of point in your career, and I know that every person's career has its little turning points and things like that. But for you, you know, you spent a year in Double A. I know you had kind of a slow start, but in typical Jam Jones fashion, you finished strong. And then you went to the fall league, and you had granted it was only a few weeks long, but you had a really good fall league. Uh, let fans know if you could kind of where your mental state was after such a good Arizona fall league with all the top prospects.
It was my second year going back, and I kind of knew what to expect, knew what kind of role I was going to be playing out there, and like I tried to do last year, just tried not to do too much, stay within myself. Really, just tried to enjoy the game. The weather's perfect out there. You have all your buddies that you've been playing against throughout the seasons, and some of your friends that you didn't get to play against are all either on the same team or on various teams throughout the fall league, and everybody's having a good time. It's very relaxed. It's a competitive state, and you're playing against guys that you're probably going to be playing against for the rest of your career. So being able to go out there and just kind of chalk it up with the guys that I know that either are going to be future teammates or future opponents, just trying to compete every day and really just have a good time doing it. I feel like I'm at my best when I'm just loose and having fun. And I just tried to take that into spring training this year and really tried to emulate the same feelings and the same thought processes I had in the fall league in the second half of the season. And really just tried to have some fun while I was in camp. And it was a blast.
It's funny you talked about other players from other teams and in the fall league they're on your team and things like that. I noticed even when you're still very young. I think fans, they've been hearing your name for a number of years, but you're
Right.
22. Uh, but even when you were 19, 20 years old, you are at ease with other ball players. I mean, the smile is genuine, and the relationships you seem to build with other guys, whether they're on your team or even the opposing team. Uh, I just put it kind of this: you like baseball, it seems like, and you like the
Yes.
people that play baseball. Is that fair?
No, it is. It is. I mean, I love the game, and who knows? I might be running for president one day, so I've gotta keep up my following. But no, but it's definitely good. I just love the game. I mean, respect the game, and it'll respect you. And just looking back at all the players you've played and kind of set the path for me, I feel like it's only right if I continue to do the things that got me here. I didn't get here by being alone and being selfish and being stubborn. I got here with the help of a lot of other people. So I know that all my friends throughout the different organizations and we're all at different stages. So me being able to connect with people on a deeper level than just saying hello, maybe I learned something from them that propels my career or vice versa. Maybe they learned something from me that propels their career. And at the end of the day, I mean, we're all just having fun playing baseball. So keeping it lighthearted, but at the same time, competing my butt off and making sure that I'm doing everything for the team so we can get a win that night. But at the same time, just enjoying being out there because I mean, there's going to be a day where I have to take the cleats off, but I'm hoping that that day's not for a long time. So I'm definitely enjoying it as it comes.
It seems to me that extends to the fans too, and one of the things that when they've talked about all the scenarios that could happen, and they talk about games without fans, that probably wouldn't happen at the minor league level, but uh, You were one of the first people I thought of when they said games without fans. I'm like, oh man, I think Jam Jones would be miserable if there weren't fans in the stands. I mean, obviously you get along with the players and stuff, but you especially, it seems to me like you feed off the smiles that are in the stands and feed off the energy of the crowd, especially when it's a big crowd. You know, that take us through what you're thinking would be of playing in an empty stadium. I know sometimes Tuesday nights in the minors kind of feel that way, but what would that be like? Do you think?
I mean, games without fans obviously would be a little weird. My first year in rookie ball in the Arizona League, I mean, the people in the stands are the four players on your team charting, the other four players on the other team charting, and maybe a couple coordinators, couple rovers that are just coming into town. But you play in big league stadiums. So I've definitely played in the empty vibe. And at the end of the day, it's still, you got to go out and compete. You know, I'm trying to win a job and I'm trying to do everything I can to contribute to the major league team. So if that means I have to adapt and learn how to play a game without fans, hopefully for shorter rather than longer, I'm going to find a way to do so. But I definitely do like playing in front of crowds. I mean, the energy that it brings, it's a different kind of feeling when you play in a bigger crowd. And you know, you get the good and the bad. You make a good play, everyone loves you. Next play could be an error or a bad play, and everyone hates you. So you definitely take it in stride, but definitely just the feeling of people coming out to the ballpark to see good baseball, to enjoy the weather, enjoy the game. I love it. It's all the things that I admire about the game and admire about the fans that make me be able to live out my dream possible. I wouldn't be here without them, obviously. I mean, they support the team that you play for, and they're loyal. They're coming to games when it's raining. They're coming to night games, double headers, everything that you could think of, and they kind of set the tone. I mean, obviously, the bigger crowds ends up being a better feeling, a bigger vibe that you get right when you walk out onto the field, and it's just something I love about the game. So, you know, obviously, we'll have to find something or to kind of bring that feeling if there's nobody in the stands. But at the end of the day, the minute you step into the box, like I don't even think of the fans or recognize anything. I kind of go silent. So honestly, it might help me concentrate a little better. But but no. At the end of the day, I mean, I'll go out and compete whether there's a million people in the stands or there's nobody in the stands. I'll play the same game.
The timing of obviously this scenario we're in now with people quarantining and things like that. It was happening right at the middle of kind of big league camp and the start of minor league camp, and you were in big league camp. You were there, and so you got kind of that surreal experience of looking around and them saying, "All right, it's time to scatter." But it was also professionally a big spring training for you. I mean, what was being told to you, or at least what you could tell us, in terms of what you needed to be doing that spring?
I mean, the biggest things were obviously the things everyone hears. You know, my defense has to get better. My offense, I have to be more consistent at a major league level. I mean, those are two key things that are going to propel me. And then obviously base running, all the normal things you hear about somebody who's working to get to the big leagues is sharpening every single facet of their arsenal and making sure that it's as best as it can be every single day, day in and day out. And that started with me being in camp and being comfortable enough to walk up to Rendon, Simba, Listella, all these guys, Maddie, like even the guys that they're coming up to camp, Rowe, like there's a bunch of guys, Mendy, Hefo, like I could go on forever, and just being around those guys in the infield so much, Soto, like these guys that are just, they have so much knowledge and they possess so much information about the game that every single aspect of my game will grow if I am able to pick their brain on something. You know, I talked to Rendon a lot about hitting because him and I are I'm trying to do similar moves that he's trying to do. And he was generous enough to be able to sit down and talk with me for 15 minutes a couple times a week, take up the time out of his day. And same with everybody else in the locker room. I felt like I could really go up to anybody if I had a question during the game, after the game, and didn't feel like I was stepping on anybody's toes. So the environment that Madden created along with the guys that were in the locker room just kind of built this foundation that is trying to allow every single player in that locker room to thrive and be successful. Because at the end of the day, it's a team atmosphere. It's a team that gets you a World Series ring, gets you a World Series win. And those were the kind of things that it all started with me learning and being able to sharpen those, just the way I thought about the game, the way I approached things. And those are the things that I felt like I needed to work on the most, was just refining things. It's not big changes. It's not very much physical work as it is, I think, more mental work. Just being able to adapt to the speed of the game, adapt to the situation, understanding my role as a player and understanding what I have to do when I step between the lines and play. I may start the game or I may come in the sixth inning, and I have to be able to understand what that means and how to go about my business. And definitely the older vet guys were helping me out with that. And, you know, in communication with Joe and Billy and Martone and Chavi and all over the front office of the things I felt like I need to work on, just day in and day out, just trying to get better everywhere. So hopefully, you know, we start playing again and my opportunity, you know, to get the call happens. But for that moment, just continue to work hard on the things that they kind of explained to me in detail as I went throughout camp.
Well, and for fans who maybe don't know or don't remember, when you were in the lower levels, you were basically mostly playing outfield. You're playing outfield, and then, boy, you know, the decision was made to switch the infield, and I was always impressed with how you attacked it. You know, and how hard you worked at becoming better and better and better. And you're so physically gifted, but I think people don't see. You know, they people buy a ticket and show up at 7 and they see what you're doing during the game, but they didn't see the 3 hours before the game that you were
Right.
working on the double play turn and things like that. And so for you, uh, have you gotten to the point now where it is becoming second nature, that positioning and the feel of the infield?
It definitely is. I mean, it's definitely something that has taken a lot of work to get to where I am now. And even in camp, I was continuing to show the work ethic and make sure that even though I'm in camp, it doesn't mean I've arrived, doesn't mean I've gotten to the destination I want to be at. It just means that I got to work even that much harder to fit into a role on that team. It's not just going to be, oh, I can do it on ability alone. I got to come in, I got to work hard, I got to wake up early, I got to be in there, got to get in, get out, make sure I'm hitting everything that I need to do throughout the day before practice even starts. And then even more so after practice, if I'm not in the game, what can I do to supplement what would be game reps for practice before the game even starts, knowing that I'm not going to get those game reps that day. So I mean, the work is continuing. The work's never going to stop, even if I'm fortunate enough to get to the big leagues and have a long career. I mean, I want to put in that work and be the best player I can be and be the best player on the field. So whatever that takes, I'm willing to do. And when they called me and told me to switch to second, I thought it was a move that would ultimately propel me in my career. So I knew that they wouldn't be telling me to do something unless they truly felt like I could be a major league contributor at that position. And throughout talks and everything, you know, I still worked out in the outfield some this year, and this upcoming year I would assume it'd be the same. So just having those tools in my belt, being able to play infield, play outfield, it's huge on a team where roster spots are limited.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. Well,
so, I
and
mean,
versatility is such an important part of the game now. I think that the game is seeing that, you know, that is the future. If you get a guy that, you know, hey, we want a pitching matchup, we need him in the lineup. It maybe isn't as important as if he's an everyday guy in one spot on the field.
right. And I mean, guys that have done it are, I mean, one of the best examples is Ben Zobrist. That
Yeah.
guy can play all over the place. He understands his role. He understands what he needed to do every single day in, day out. And I mean, fantastic career playing baseball because of it. And he's just one of many people that understood that they could be an even better big league player if it meant that they could be good at several other positions and be able to, you know, I'm playing second. Well, this is a better matchup here. So now I can be at third because I'm swinging it well. So you can allow that second baseman to get in and, you know, swing it a little bit. So just understanding that is definitely something that piqued my interest and definitely sounded intriguing to me when he brought it up. So just trying to do the best I can at both positions, working my butt off at both positions, understanding that one day I could be in left, one day I could be at second, one day I could be in center, one day I could be in right. Hopefully, you know, I can transition to playing other spots in the infield and really be able to just be plugged in anywhere in the lineup where it fit.
Well, Jam, we're all in quarantine and things like that, but for some of us that are more accustomed to being sedentary, I don't think it's as tough. I think about a guy like you who's got so much energy. I'm afraid you're going to bust out of the roof or something like that. But I tell you what, we thank you for sitting down with us, and it's great to see you. And obviously, the fans of Inland Empire miss you and enjoyed your time there. But thanks so much for taking the time with us today.
No, seriously, thank you so much for everything. I really appreciate it. It's definitely weird being in the house, but definitely able to connect to the fans hopefully through this. And just know that I adore them. Wouldn't be here without them. They're great, and thank y'all for everything.
All right, that's the $1 million smile of Jahmai Jones. Jam, thanks so much. Thanks for being with us at 66ers Safe at Home.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.